Welcome into the CBS and New York Sports Desk. Seth Goldberg, Joe McLaughlin with you here to give a little recap of the weekend with both the Jets and Giants playing. Baseball in the middle of free agency as well, so plenty to get to. And let's start with Big Blue. It seems like for the Giants, this year was really all about figuring out if they had a quarterback after drafting Daniel Jones with the 6th overall pick. Jones has played, he's had his ups, he's had his downs. What do you think, Joe? Do they have their man?
I think they finally got it right. Maybe I shouldn't say finally, because they did get it right with Eli for 14, 15 seasons. We saw it yesterday. We saw those 5 touchdown passes like you talked about on our sportscast. No rookie has ever done what he had done before. And the fact that he did set all these records in just 11 weeks, because he missed the first 2, missed 2 with Eli when he had the high ankle. I think the Giants finally proved that they might have figured out this quarterback situation that everybody had been so worried about the past few years.
Yeah, and it's really interesting to watch because if you remember the reaction almost immediately after Jones got picked 6th, no, that's way too high. The reaction, the hyperbole, the first couple of hours, it was not enough. There on the tape for Jones to warrant being drafted that high, but he's put together a solid rookie year. Of course, a couple of hiccups. He's fumbled a couple of times more than you would probably like, but all in all, a pretty solid rookie campaign.
And those turnover numbers took a sharp nosedive as the season progressed, as he got more time. I mean, he's a smart kid. We saw the emphasis on ball protection. He lost it yesterday, but his offensive lineman picked it up, and everything turned out fine. And it was another day without any interceptions. So we saw the growth, we saw the maturity, we saw the improvement, and so I think the Giants got this one right.
Let's move to the guys who are making the decisions here. Pat Shurmur, the head coach, Dave Gettleman, the general manager, both of them under fire. Both of them 9-22 since they took their positions with the Giants. Do you think they get another year? Do they deserve another year?
Gettleman definitely will get another year. I mean, it's not my decision, so maybe I shouldn't say definitely. But Saquon, he got that correct. Daniel Jones, he appears to get that correct. You know, as long as you don't completely swing and a miss on your first pick that high, you usually should have some time to see how those players develop. The pass rusher out of Old Dominion, Zimenez, he's shown some improvement. And Darius Slayton, a 6th-round pick. Where did he come from?
He's been fantastic.
Absolutely fantastic. He's been our best receiver, or the Giants' best receiver. So Shurmur, on the other hand, has kind of left me at times wondering, sometimes his post-game press conferences, I'm wondering, like, what is this guy talking about? What's his attitude? What's his mentality moving forward? You know, some days he acted sad, other days he seemed disappointed, other days he was bitter. So it wouldn't surprise me to see if Shurmur goes, but I honestly think Gettleman will continue as Giants GM.
I think my favorite comments from Pat Shurmur came today. He was asked about a video of Eli Manning and Daniel Jones out partying in Hoboken last night, and he said they should have invited me. I loved it. That was my favorite thing he said all season. For the record, Shurmur 9-22 with the Giants. He went 9-23 with the Browns in his previous head coaching stint, so he struggled as the head man. Let's move across, not even across town, across the building to Gang Green and to the Jets. After 2 years here, they've got Sam Darnold, and again, he showed his ups and downs. What's your assessment of Darnold as we wrap up year 2 of his NFL career?
We saw progress. I don't think we saw the progress we wanted to see or enough of it. I really do believe the mono may have slowed down everything. I mean, we don't really know how healthy he was coming back. I mean, he did miss several weeks. He comes back, the Jets kind of struggled to get on a roll. And then when we saw him at full strength, we saw the Jets where they finished 5-3 at home and started off 1-6 and then actually been playing respectable football. So I don't know. I think the improvement is there, but we would like to have seen more.
And when you look at who they hired in Adam Gase to bring in and really change the offense, he's given the offensive mind that he didn't have last year under Todd Bowles. And so maybe it was the mono, but you would probably like to see a little bit more out of Sam Darnold this season. And let's get to Gase. He was given a vote of confidence a couple of weeks back, said, hey, we're going to bring him back. He's going to be our coach in 2020. But obviously something has to change. Something has to improve. To you, what's the biggest thing? What has to improve for Adam Gase to have more success year 2 with the Jets?
Well, you know, he's working with a young quarterback, but we also was told this guy is a quarterback whisperer. So that's why my point was that we'd like to have seen more out of Sam. They ended up scoring 263 points so far, which is the lowest in a very tough division. But So I'd like to see more of this offensive genius stuff that we heard talked about for quite a while leading up to him. And I don't know, he seemed to calm down with the media. He was very defensive when it started. So I think took him a while to get used to New York as well. I think everybody needs a little time to get used to New York. So he's not going anywhere, that's for sure.
No, and the best thing for a young quarterback is continuity. Stay with the same guy and give him a little bit of a chance. Let's go to somebody else who's new to New York, Joe, and that is Garrett Cole. The Yankees signed Cole to this monster deal, record deal, 9 years, $324 million. Does this make the Yankees the World Series favorites once again?
Well, I was at his press conference last week, and there must have been 300 people there. Every person in that press conference thinks they are now the World Series favorites. We know the Yankees have always been a confident organization, and understandably so with their 27 titles, but they all to a man seem to think that this signing gave them that final little over-the-top missing piece, so to speak. I mean, Aaron Boone specifically called him a missing piece when he was speaking with our Steve Overmeyer. Whether he is, I mean, baseball's still the epitome of a team sport. One guy, he's only he could make 3 starts maybe in a 7-game series?
Most likely, yes.
So, you know, it's going to be more than just one guy, so we shall see. But, I mean, you know, they still won 103 games last year without him. You can only imagine what they're going to do with him.
Without him, largely without Giancarlo Stanton, largely without Miguel Andujar, they won a lot of games without a lot of players last year. And looking specifically at that starting rotation, you start it with Garrett Cole. You've got James Paxton, who came on strong at the end of last year. Masahiro Tanaka, who I think every Yankee fan out there knows is somebody who steps up when the moment kind of becomes its biggest. This is a pretty solid start to the rotation. Don't forget Luis Severino coming back. Do you think they need to make maybe one more move there, get a 5th guy in that rotation, or what they've got now is good enough to go and make things happen, especially given the lineup that they've got behind them?
Seeing what happened last year with the amount of injuries they had, depth in starting pitching is never a bad thing. Never a bad thing at all. Who knows what's going to happen with Severino again, although he did look strong when he came back. But you have to feel good about their big 5 that they got already, including J. Happ. I mean, if I'm the Yankee fans, I'm feeling pretty good about what your starting rotation is looking like. Plus, they need the starting rotation to be more impactful in the postseason than it was last year. I think Boone might have to reassess the 4 innings for a starter and then bring in the bullpen. You know, a 7-game series, when you see a guy in the pen 3 or 4 games in a row, his impact, his fastball may not be as impressive. His curveball, his slider, whatever his out pitch is, has been seen so many times that, you know, I think that maybe getting starting pitching will be the key.
There's a reason those guys aren't the starters.
Exactly.
Because you don't want somebody to see them 3 or 4 times in a day or 2 days. And also, we can't forget, and we didn't mention Domingo Germán. He's probably suspended to start the season, but he could certainly make an impact on this team at some point.
Oh, we saw, what did he end up with, 17, 18 wins last year? I think he would absolutely make an impact. Some guys just know how to get W's for their team, and he's one of them.
He certainly is. So a lot going on in the sports world here in New York. Thanks for joining us on the CBSN New York Sports Desk. We'll be talking to you very soon.